Hey, you guys, welcome to Them Parts. I'm Nicole, and this is our new show. We have No Face in the house. What's up, No Face?
What up? What up?
Hey, hey, Gina. Thank you for joining us today. We have E in the house. E is
E in the
back.
building.
Guys
Mhm.
joining, and today we have a caller on the phone. You won't be able to see him, but you will hear him. His name is Gino. Please introduce yourself.
My name is Eugene Rayford, but you can call me Gino.
And Gino is calling in. He's actually a counselor, and well, he's actually an inmate in prison who recently got his certification as a counselor. So he saw our videos on Facebook, and he wanted to join in on the conversation. He counsels and works with inmates who have been in prison for a very long time, and a lot of them are getting ready to come back out on the street. Eugene himself has been locked up for over 31 years, and hopefully he gets paroled this year. But he's joining the conversation because the conversations that he's having with the inmates are along the lines of the conversations that we're having. And now these men are looking into their past and things that they could have did differently. Regrets are not just that, just learning. We're all on a journey here. So we're all going to discuss. Eugene is going to tell us about some of the conversations that they have, some of the questions because they really get deep. So, so Eugene, we're going to start with you, if you don't mind, and wherever you want to go with the
No,
conversation.
I no, I do not mind. And one of the questions that was posed over a week ago, and I'm gonna pose it to the audience right now, is what are some key components within a healthy relationship? So if somebody would like to answer that question and we can open up a dialogue on that question right there and start from there.
Okay, I like that.
I love that.
Anybody want to jump in on the key components
Well,
of
the
a
first
healthy?
thing that came to mind was communication. I feel like that's one of the most important things.
Okay, I love that. Communication. What about communication? What's missing in the communication right now?
Um, Being able to communicate yourself without losing your temper.
I think what
Mm,
Gio's asking is what are the key components. So communication would be one of them.
Mm.
Not what's missing in them, right? Right, Gio?
Yes.
Right.
okay,
So
okay.
Yes.
communication, trust.
But
Vulnerability.
Yeah.
What you say, Gina? Gina?
Vulnerability.
Oh, vulnerability. So
Right.
we got communication, trust, and vulnerability. Let's dig into those. Communication, trust, and vulnerability. We can dig into those right there. So, anybody want to go deeper into any of those three topics?
Well,
Communication, trust.
Gio got the stage right now. Go ahead.
let's come
Oh shit, we lose him.
to components within a healthy relationship in as far as me and what I think is healthy, is effective communication. Communication could be, a person lacking in communication, but he or she can communicate, what I'm saying, but it might not be properly or effectively to his or her partner, right? Another
Right.
component, a key component that I identify with is
mm, mhm.
and women tend to lack, right? And I use men and women loosely because some individuals haven't developed to that man and women stage. It's all about, because of their age bracket, what I'm saying, they perceive them to be men or they perceive them to be women. Now, another key component that I think is bonding. That bonding affects, a lot of different aspects within the relationship, which one can improve, on their emotional connection or attachment within the relationship. That bonding can improve that affectionate part within the relationship, and so many other aspects within that relationship to make that relationship healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what
Okay, so what?
see, sorry guys, there's echo sometimes.
Yeah, yeah,
So my question is, how do okay, you're talking with guys in prison, right? And you guys are having counseling sessions on a regular basis, right? Are you guys okay? So right now it's a lot of reflection on um things that you could have did differently and mistakes that you made and things that you would change, probably, right? So
All this is to strive to improve one's purpose in life. This is for personal growth and personal development, because they haven't developed out there on the streets.
right.
They haven't grown mentally out there on the streets. Their faculties haven't grown. So getting up in these environments, we have 60 seconds remaining. With individuals that their development has grown already. So
yeah,
they're giving certain pieces of their education to these individuals and expounding on their education, expounding on some of the discussions that's being made, and having these individuals look at life in a different perspective, having them look at relationships in a different perspective, their background in a different perspective, how they was raised in a different perspective, and just looking at it in a different light so they can understand themselves.
Okay. I know you about to call back in. It's about to hang up. Then we gonna tell you what y'all can expect when y'all get out, and that might change y'all conversations in there. Because the way that the guys talk out here, it ain't gonna be just as easy as um effective communication. So
yeah,
Well,
yeah. It's something that
so
it's
it
something
cut
that I
off.
don't think.
Go
Yeah, it's
ahead,
something
Nova.
that the textbooks ain't going to be able to teach you. That you have to learn. That's just the reality of life. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think what I'm picking up is that he studied a lot of like psychology and communication relationship type teachings from the curriculum, like a college type curriculum,
Mhm.
and that's good. That's good to know. It's kind of similar to the Oracle what we got in the
Mhm.
Oracle too, but it's like that's not the finish line. You know what I mean?
You don't
I
think that's
wanted
the
to ask him too when he comes back, like what kind of challenges does he see or shortcomings does he see coming from the youth? And is there any change that he's noticed throughout the decades?
that's the thing. He ain't seen as much.
Well, yeah, I'm saying we're talking about the young men that he's been counseling.
Oh, that's a great question.
But yeah, we'll just let's get to something, Nico. What we getting at?
Who's calling back in? We getting into what you just said. You about to ask a question. Hey, we got a question for you.
yes.
Go ahead, No Face.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you what type of shortcomings or what do you think is the biggest obstacles that the young men these days are needing to overcome that you deal with and that you counsel? And has there been any change? Have you seen any um, differences over the generations in the last 2 to 3 decades that you've been in there?
Okay, there's several different questions. Well, I'm tackle the one. Some of the things that they had overcome, right, is that this dysfunctional family that they grew up under, right? And all the
Yeah.
things that they was taught and that they perceived to be true had ended up being wrong and wrongly taught to them, and that's why they was placed in a position of that fight or flight mode once they was out there. You know what I'm saying? And they had to deal with those situations out there and learn on their own. They had to learn on their own about love. They had to learn on their own about what a healthy family is. They had to learn on their own about a lot of different things. You know what I'm saying? Because their parents didn't teach them correctly. So even with communication skills, be broad. You know what I'm saying? Effective communication. And a lot of people poorly communicate. You know what I'm saying? And that promotes fear of intimacy in their relationship. And when I say intimacy, it doesn't mean sexual. It means the overall bonding within the relationship. So they was learning and developing their emotional side, because these men do care, you know what I'm saying? And there's a different things that they may have learned about themselves, which is installing confidence, empowering these individuals. They're opening up even more because they had those walls that they had to chisel down while up in this
Yeah.
environment.
And what do you think that? What do you think is the cause of this? What do you think? What do you think made? What do you think the seed was that sprouted the fruit that is this lack of understanding when it comes to our community and to the younger people that's growing up in it
Great question.
or that have grew up in the past few decades?
3, 4 decades.
Yeah, yeah, I think what it is not having an intimate relationship with their parents. The parents may have been codependent on drugs. They may have had a mental illness, and they was operating on dysfunctional belief systems. So they pass those dysfunctional belief systems down to their kids. So
Right.
no one knew better. You know what I'm saying? And it stems also from the government within itself. You know what I'm saying? If you look into the 60s, and they had a blockage on education, so blacks was restricted for certain education, and that goes the minds of individuals also. It allowed certain people to grow and to seek out, success in America, but that was a contributing factor also with our people's, progressing in America, especially educationally. So this call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. With a lot of men and women growing up in poverty, in America, and a lot of men and women of color having a lack of education, what are they going to teach and hand down to their children? You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
so these were contributing factors that we broke into, and we understood where it came from, the root cause of it. You know what I'm saying? But we don't place blame on our family members. You know what I'm saying? We live this out, we learn, and we do better and grow better and develop. Here on
Yeah.
out.
Exactly. That's why I asked the question too, because I wanted you to go a little deeper into that, so as not to portray like we're just blaming one generation of parents, because there's always a reason. There's always a domino effect. So I wanted to like push back further on what was the first domino that fell, and I think you touched on it quite well.
Thank you.
That's a great question too. No fake. Also, uh, Eugene, we understand that you guys are having these conversations in prison amongst each other, but it it feels like you may not know what to expect when you get out here, and that part, I think the men in there have to know what what to expect from the women out here, and from, let's say, the guys' point of view, it don't look too good. So
I think that's kind of a faulty premise, though. Like, I think that's, I mean, just like you, No Face mentioned something about him saying effective communication. Like you and Nicole mentioned, like, oh, well, that's not enough to use in the real world. But I think that's huge to use in the real world. And I don't think we should let individual experiences prevent a healthy coming out of prison to be able to experience something different.
I agree.
Yeah, and that's not what I said. Okay,
I,
I just
I,
said, I just said.
I didn't say you said anything.
Oh, okay, my bad. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Calm down, No
He's
Face.
going into his face for a minute.
Yo, I'm ready.
Yeah, no, that's a fair, because I don't want to put it like what No Face describes as uh, women or wildebeest is what is the only thing to expect out here. But I do just want to put a little reality into. Say it again.
That's your feedback, Nicole.
Oh, that's mine. So
He said women are wildebeest.
oh god.
He used that terminology.
Not to their face, but on this show, yes. Yes. Why do you use that
No,
terminology?
no, no. I
Face?
do.
Do you want
I
to
do. When they're
explain?
a wildebeest is a wild beast. A lot. So it's a play on women being out of control.
Mm,
And these wildebeest, when I refer to a wildebeest, these are their society is creating them through through the lack of accountability and through the entitlement that that the government bestows upon the women that is not just, and it's for a higher agenda, but it has created a society of wildebeest, what I refer to as wildebeest, which is wild women, wild women on the loose that
you
can't
hear
be
that?
tamed or domesticated.
Why would you domesticate? It sounds like only animals can be domesticated first and foremost, right? Because some would not like even being domesticated. If you tried to domesticate a tiger, you would get a different result, right? That tiger will absolutely chew you alive. Now, as far as calling names, I try to refrain from calling names and try to lift women as well as men up, and try to build them. Each time we climb, we reach down, lift people up. That's what our people should be doing right now. Although they may not be doing it, but we have some qualified individuals, and it might be to lift some of these individuals up with positivity. Only positive thinking brings positive outcomes in our communities and stuff, and that would bring or develop a woman's self-esteem. It would develop a woman's self-compassion. It would develop a woman's self-acceptance and self-radical acceptance at that. It would develop a woman's self-respect. It would develop a woman's self-confidence. It would develop a woman's self-love. It would develop a woman's self-care. And
Yeah.
once you start developing the women, which bear the kids and have the kids, that's what she would teach the kids, in that environment. If a man goes to work and she so happened to take care of the child for those 2 years, of development, of the child, that child is going to get all that love and nothing more and nothing less, and that child is going to grow up to have a bright future. Majority of the children would grow up to have a brighter future. because they're going to nurture all that with they love,
Right, right. And you're not wrong about any of that. I just think that we're not at that stage right now. I think for me, because I'm very thoughtful about these things too, and I appreciate your take on it. But for me, I think we got a system that needs to be shaken up a little bit and need to be broken down. So we can't do that with the nurturing and caring right now. We have to. I mean, for me, I'm not even saying an absolute, but we're not at the point where we even have the trust of these women to be in a position to nurture them and talk sweet to them. I think that um, that's where I think that that's what they're getting too much coddling. And when I'm talking about I'm talking more specifically about the quote unquote wildebeest, the wild crazy woman that's running, that's imposing her will and her power upon men at the destruction of not only herself but the man and the family. So
I
so I feel you what you're saying. I think the system got to get shaken up and rocked a little bit before we can get to that nurturing and build. I think you got to break shit down before you can build it back up because this ain't our shit. We didn't build this. We got to break their shit down and then build our shit back up. If that makes sense.
I tend to agree with you, Eugene, in
woman.
terms of.
Go
Can you
ahead.
hear me?
Oh,
I tend to agree with Eugene in the sense that love is always going to bring in more love. I mean, just being loving to one another, being kinder to one another. I think humanity as a whole can always use more of that. And I think that that's a great point of how we start. It's like where we keep talking about where do we start and how do we, do better. It's, like Gandhi said, like be the change you want to see in the world, like that's where we start with ourselves.
Man.
Yeah, and they'll say the same. They'll say like men need to be men and men are the leaders and men. But then when we do the necessary, when I even imply us what would be a necessary step towards that, they want to revert back to what's comfortable and what the philosophies that contributed and put us into the spot as far as being the turn the other cheek, fight hate with love type narrative. The that I have a dream type shit. You know what I mean? And I just don't agree with that. And I don't think that these
yeah.
philosophies have been implemented for so many years and got us nowhere.
Yeah, I would disagree with that.
I disagree with every man is a leader because every man is not a leader. Probably 1 out of 10 men in the households are leaders, especially
You have 60 seconds remaining.
especially in the black community. So, what woman would follow a man that can't lead? Properly, you have to have all those components installed within a man in order for that man to lead. And without with missing one of those components, that man is going to be off balance. Period. No matter how you think about it, he's going to be off balance.
Fuck.
He might neglect love. He might neglect the happiness. He might neglect affirmations to give to his woman and kids. He might neglect a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't believe that men are leaders. There's many women out there that lead more than men.
They don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
They don't
No,
want to
that's
hear
not
that.
true.
See?
So you're saying you got to be perfect to be a leader.
No, that's just
I didn't hear him say perfect.
You got to have all of these different components that a leader has and never slip up on any of them.
I think we're adding words to what he said, though. He did give components and characteristics of a leader, but I did not hear him say to be perfect. I think he's just classifying it, right? Like if I was to classify a milkman or a,
Yeah, you're probably right. I just took it that way.
whatever, the person that brings you your food delivery, like they have certain skills and responsibilities for their role, and I think that's what he was sharing with us.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I missed the last part. I'll be right back though, guys, in like 2 minutes.
No Face left the whole conversation, huh?
I know. I think he was with E for a second there, but I think this is just an affirmation for me that I need to be dating people in prison.
Well, he's gonna get parole this year, some of them. So,
Every year they're on parole, so or every month probably, right? Somebody is.
hey, Eugene. We just
I
laughing.
I know other people were thinking it, so I had to.
Gina said she finna it's confirmed she need to get her dude out of prison because the niggas out here ain't talking right.
She said what?
Well, no, I feel like you can't put all the responsibility on the man,
Okay.
to lead. You also got to put some responsibility on the woman to follow.
Oh, he talking like No Face now. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I want to address this. What he said. I never did say or lean on that men has to be perfect because all human beings are fallible creatures, right?
That's right.
So
That's
that
right.
means that basically we're going to mess up. You know what I'm saying? We're going to mess up time and time again. But if you have a strong woman on your side, right? Guess what? When you make that mistake, she's going to correct it, but she's going to correct it in the right way. You know, it's always each one, right? In a relationship. So we don't want to bash them women. You know, we don't want to degrade them women. We want to love and respect them women and protect them and stuff. But yeah, and with positive regard. You know, without that positive regard, there's not going to be a positive, unconditional love for the woman or for the child, and for for a person's self. You know, because if he's not respecting the woman, he's damn sure ain't going to respect the child. He's damn sure not going to respect himself. You know, he's going to be moving on impulse or
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
And he's going to devalue the woman. He's going to devalue or neglect the child. He's going to devalue and neglect himself.
Right.
And it might not be physically, it might be nutritionally. He might not be eating healthy, you know, so he could feed his brain, you know, so his brain could be operating on 100%, you know, positivity. But I think as a whole, we do need to have these discussions, you know, so we can get back into those leadership positions, you know, and lead our family, you know, into the future, lead our women into the future, and lead our children into the future for a brighter future, you know, as far as our community as a whole.
I like that.
Agreed. Yeah. Well said.
No Face, you missed a lot of that. You the one who needs to hear it. But it's all about lifting up and leading with love. I believe Unique mentioned that to you before. Leading with love. Why are you against that, No Face? Can you hear me?
Damn, I can't hear shit.
Well,
We can hear you now, No Face. Can you hear us?
No Face. He can't hear us. So we're going to Eugene. Can you answer the second question that E had in terms of why is it all on the men to be the leaders when the women need to follow? What's up with that?
Well, he did say it.
Women need to follow. If you look at your partner being an equal, right? There should be no man in front. She should be on the side of you. She shouldn't be in the back of you. None of that old stuff. Because that's my equal. How could I be? Now, if she wants me to step up and lead, that's her decision. She's going to tell me, in a healthy way. And that's what I'm going to do. Now, when I want her to lead, I'm going to lead back because I know my woman is going to be out there leading me, and it's going to be an off and on thing in the relationship. It's never going to be a one-sided thing, especially if you have a good woman on your side that knows how to lead. And many women in society right now, especially black women, they very much know how to lead. I think that they know how to lead better than men right now, especially black men. And we see that in every march around the country, every issue around the country, they are at the forefront. In every educational system around this country, they are at the forefront. They are in those college, whether it's a community college, whether it's a university, they are the majority of human beings that we have in those colleges feed their mind, going out to society and working for a living and leading the pack right now as we speak.
Yeah, I don't think any of us can disagree with you on that. Oh, sorry, no face can.
Wait, hold on. No face. Your camera. Check your camera first, and then I'll put you on the scene.
And we're not right now, we're not paying our women the due respect that is needed right now. You know what I'm saying? They are leading in all sorts of fashion. They are in every nick and cranny of the corner. You can look at the political system in the United States of America. You are going to find black women outnumbering the black men. You can look at the universities. You are going to find the black women leading in those aspects of the education outnumbering the black men. You can look at the workforce in this country. You are going to find beautiful black women leading the black man, and in those aspects, they are outnumbering the black men.
Oh, the echo chamber loving you right now. But listen, but listen. Women, they're not leading. They're following the guidelines of the oppressive system that reigns over us, and they're acting as frontline soldiers against their best judgment, against the people's best judgment, unbeknownst to themselves. So they're not doing it out of malice. But if all the things that you just listed off that paints a picture and builds a perception of leadership or being in the forefront or doing something positive is not yielding anything but negative results. So if you look at the results as opposed to the imagery and the propaganda that's being perpetuated through the educational system and through the media, then you'll see that they're not leading us. If they were leading us, they're not leading us down a path of anything prosperous, and very much the opposite. But I wouldn't. But they're not leading. So the trained eye will understand that that's not leading. That's following an agenda.
But then you guys are following the agenda that you say we following.
Yeah,
So,
that's true. And
so
yes, yeah.
like we're leading. Sounds like we're leading. And
When I excuse me, when I made that statement, right, I didn't state it, because I'm using lip service, right? I stated it as evidence base that's going to back that statement. This is evidence based. This is what's going on in America. These are facts that I'm saying. I'm not doing no lip service when I state those. Period. That goes directly against my integrity, and I have to, under my scope of practice, I have to basically give facts. I got to deal with facts when I speak. So I identified those things, but I also identified the challenges as well. We have a steep challenge as Black men in America to catch up to Black women in America in the educational department. They are kicking out Black women in the educational department with many degrees, and if they don't possess degrees, they have trades, they have certifications, whether it's in dental, whether it's in welding, whether it's in anything. They are doing it out there in America, even if they're doing it on them alone as individuals, and they don't need men. They certainly don't need men, right now in today's society, especially with all the adult kits and gadgets out there that they can possess and use, right?
Y'all didn't catch
Now,
Yeah, I got it. Yeah,
I didn't
Derek,
catch it. I didn't catch it.
I definitely got it.
now the man got to catch up. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's all about it's more. It's not about education. It's about what is power, and what is power is money. So if you look at the stats about the bottom line, a single man has a single Black man has 10 times the net worth of a single Black woman, even though she has a disproportionate amount of land, which is supposed to be the base level or the essential need for building wealth. She still is underperforming in the bottom line of economics of money, monetary gains.
Who said
So
that?
there's no correlation between education and prosperity. A lot of people go into education and they leave with debt and then get into especially women. They leave with debt and get into a field that had nothing to do with the degree that they got. So education it's a false illusion of success and performance. And it's
Yeah,
easy for somebody to throw this out.
yeah, I completely disagree with that.
I hear you out on it. But I want to make one fact also, right? Now these women, right? Once they do leave these colleges and stuff, and they end up getting with a basically pathetic man, you know what I'm saying? And with her degree and her working out, in the work field, you know what I'm saying? She's not only supporting herself, but now she's supporting the pathetic man, because most of these individuals don't have no work experience nor.
So why would you use that adjective why would you say a pathetic man when you just were saying earlier how we should uplift each other when it pertains to women, but you don't give men that same grace?
No, I do give them, because the men rather lay back, right, and allow this to go on, And the reason why I
That
say
is what you said.
it's not a negativity to strike down the man, right? Because he do possess, and I'm saying this as a disadvantage inside of sale, right? And
Right.
only, a few degrees and a few certifications up under my belt, right? I'm saying this because I see it all so often, and I don't mean to bruise egos and stuff, but we see it. If I see it from the sale, I believe you might see it also. All you got to do is take a poll of some of the men and ask, do they have jobs? What are they doing? Take a poll of a lot of Black men, and they'll tell you who they are. They would rather lay back, kick back, and it's like a reverse role in the modern ages in today's society.
And what do you think is the reason for that? Do you think it's just a natural? And
He has
You have 60 seconds remaining. 60 seconds remaining.
he has a mind, he has a will, he can get up and get a job. He can get up and add to the financial lacking in the household. He can contribute. but he'd rather not contribute. He'd rather have it or get it done all on a woman.
But why? Why does he do that? Why does particularly the black man do that? Because I feel like that's what you're suggesting.
No, I'm saying that it's pathetic to me. You know, that's why I said that word. That's why I used it. It's pathetic to me. I didn't use a harsher tone of our language.
Right, but I'm saying, why is it?
I don't know.
Why do you think?
When you call back in,
He didn't say he was. What I heard him say.
Okay.
Sorry, Nicole.
Go ahead, Jen.
Yeah, what I heard him say was he said something about I don't want to mince words, so I'm not going to repeat what he said, but he said something about a pathetic man, but he was not referring to all black men, excuse me, being pathetic. He was referring to a specific type of characteristic that he was naming pathetic. I do want to just touch on the education. I know Monica made a note about education as well in the comments. And I agree. I don't think it necessarily has to be schooling, but information is power. And the more you know, the more effective and likely successful you will be. That doesn't mean that there aren't people who, go viral without knowledge or education, but you're setting yourself up for a greater possibility when you are informed.
Yeah, education is powerful, and miseducation is even more powerful.
Have a prepaid call from.
And education doesn't get stamped by you don't need a certificate or a stamp of approval, so to speak, or a diploma in this case, to be educated. So
I agree. I never said that. I was
no,
speaking
no,
of,
I'm just throwing that out there.
yeah.
So
Thank you
just
for
because
using Pill Link.
a person has more degrees than another person has no correlation between what the powerful knowledge, the knowledge is power, saying, so to speak. You know what I mean? Because if you're if you have misinformation or if you're miseducated, then that's worse than being uneducated,
But you
right?
just said it was still powerful, no? When you say
No,
being misinformed is miseducated is more powerful?
being uneducated is better than being miseducated.
I'm gonna give you the definition of pathetic, right? It means inadequate. So if that's a better word to use to describe the men are inadequate, then
No, I was just pointing out. What I was pointing out was how it's accepted. It's generally accepted to say something like, to say pathetic men, because it's not that it's not true what you're saying. But when I refer to a certain segment of women as wildebeests, that's the same. That's a same equivalent to you saying that about a certain population of men. But it's received as me being, but it was spun as me being negative and beating down and not being. That's never going to work in that type of narrative. But then you perpetuate the same
that's why
the same thing against the men. So it's okay to be divided as long as we're praising the woman. And that is exactly what the white supremacist agenda is. Not only the white supremacist agenda against particularly the black families, but the the oppressive elites agenda against the common people, to keep us divided and conquered, to extract our energy, labor, and frequency, our melanin, and to keep us from igniting and realizing who we really are, in order to reclaim our power as people, and particularly as black people on this planet. So with these type of narratives that you're regurgitating right now, these are the same ideals that have not only put us in this bad spot, but keep us in this bad spot. And whenever there's a group of women that is agreeing with you, you're usually wrong. It's usually not a good thing, especially when these practices and these philosophies have been widely accepted in society, and people have accepted it and implemented it at a vast majority of situations, and it's gotten us in this degenerate, subservient position that we are in as people. So we can't just keep doing the same shit over and over and expecting a different result. And if you want men to lead, then men have to have the authority to lead. You can't have put all the responsibility on the man and give him no authority. And a book and education, the white curriculum, the oppressor's curriculum and his teachings will never get us the information and knowledge necessary to free ourselves through our to access the knowledge that is power. We're only accessing the knowledge that is his power, and it's being used against us. And there's no there's no evidence that would suggest otherwise. So it's not even a theory that I'm suggesting.
It's definitely
Yeah, you're making a lot
you
of
made all
grand
that up.
gestures and
I'm making all that up. How am I making all this up? Where did I pull that from?
there's a
My
From
ass?
the very statistics and the very system that you downgrade all the time and say we shouldn't use. You pull it from there.
From where?
The echo chamber of men that want to pat themselves on the back. It's like all of you guys are going through a midlife crisis right now.
No, it's not, because I did not one time pat anybody on the back.
like I think we need to be careful about the platitudes of like all women, all men, because obviously Gino's perspective is very different from No Face's.
Yeah,
No
he was
Face's
talking
probably different
about
from E,
I'm
etc.
talking about us as a whole, as one
No, I heard you.
united whole.
No, I understand
So
that.
so it's not so it, if you just break us all into a million and divide it by a million, and then that's what it is. That's subservience. That's the oppressed. That's the bottom of the barrel,
what you say, Eugene?
and that's where we're at.
Like 20 different arguments in one, right?
Yeah, that's
And
how
when
we
I
do.
said pathetic, right, I gave you the definition of it. So what it means is inadequate. If you understand what inadequate means, if you want me to break it down to you, I can. What inadequate
Okay,
means
I understand what inadequate means, and I don't need you.
break it down.
No.
You don't want to hear.
So it may came off as because you probably don't hear those words being said, towards men or towards women, and because I aimed it at a man, you know what I'm saying? I think you probably took it a little offensive.
No. I just pointed out the fact. I noticed it. I noticed the inconsistency, and then I called attention to it.
But let's just ask Gino a question for you.
Inconsistency.
No, inconsistency.
No inconsistency,
No.
I think we can clear this all up really quick with just a question.
Okay, we got
Gino,
a question. Hold on.
Would you agree, Gino, that there are some women who are inadequate?
And your telephone number will be monitored
You'll have to
and
repeat the
recorded.
question.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Say that again.
I said, would you agree that there are women who are inadequate?
Absolutely, and that's when I first had begun to talk. Right, I stated women and men, and I stated that I wouldn't define those individuals as women and men because they haven't developed into a woman. They haven't developed into a man.
Right.
Which means they both are inadequate,
Right.
And it stemmed from a dysfunctional household, a dysfunctional family, and the cause root of it was stemmed from the United States government. You know what I'm saying? Their inadequacies. You know what I'm saying? With them not providing a proper education to the black man and black women, and them excluding them from education. And in the 60s, and it goes far back to the 1800s when the slavery and stuff, and we can see the struggles of the black humanity back then, you know what I'm saying, to now. Now they're about to roll back a whole lot of stuff, that we're not paying attention to, and
Right.
where our children is going to be affected. About a lot of the stuff that's going on with the government system. We have to pay attention to this. We have to be conscious of this. So, to state what you just stated, yes, women, a lot of females are inadequate in the United States of America, and it's for them to develop or help or seek out help to develop those healthy components that they need to operate on a functional level in society.
Agreed. Yeah, I asked you that just so we could clear up some of what it felt like was an attack on men, and I believed that you would respond exactly the way that you did. So I think we take a lot of grand gestures with very little words. I think we need to take a little bit more time to hear each other and not draw a lot of conclusions about what we're saying, and just try to get clarity on what's said, and and then move from there.
I just want to state that I'm my worst critic. You know what I'm saying? Don't nobody know me but me.
Right.
They might know pieces of me, but don't nobody know me better but me and God. So I'm my worst critic. But the thing about me is I strive to continue to educate myself. I don't limit myself, period. I don't try to limit myself, period. And I don't want to be stuck in a rut. Because once you're stuck in a rut, you're going to remain there neutral. You're not going to be moving forward, period. And that's what many people do, women and men.
Agreed. Yeah, they stay stagnant.
Female and male, but it's also left to us, those that has a little enlightenment, to enlighten other individuals, enlighten the woman, because she's going to be right there beside me, she's going to bear my kids. She's going to be, when I don't want to take the lead, she's going to take the lead, and I have full confidence in her to take that lead, period, while I keep that,
Yeah.
So,
I like that. Guys, E, we haven't heard from you today. E, do you have any input on any of this?
Yeah, so we were talking about how men need to be a proper leader, and then woman will follow, or the woman would follow, and my point was, it's not entirely on the man. They can be a leader and have the proper characteristics that define a leader, but still have the woman choosing to not follow. And
That
so
goes
it's not entirely on the man. It takes two to tango, was my point.
right. And that goes back to what Gino said about the inadequate woman,
Right.
right? Like not having a woman that's supportive, that can either follow when following is required, or who can step up to the plate and lead when leading is
Right.
required.
Or lead when need be. Exactly.
Yeah.
But I
And she's
do.
also incentivized not to follow, though. She's incentivized not to follow, and she's rewarded for not following.
Not to
In
follow.
what scenario?
According to him, she's incentivized not to follow, but I wanted to say that the leadership is what gets her to follow too. So, like me and Gino was talking yesterday, and I asked him a scenario. What if your girl went out and like dressing hella skimpy or in booty shorts and her ass cheeks are out or something like that? How would you handle that situation? And you want to tell them how you answered it, Eugene?
yes, if she was my woman, right, this is what I would say prior to her going outside the house, right? And if I didn't like those clothes, I like them on the inside, but I wouldn't like for her to reveal that to the public, right? So what I would say as a good conversationalist or effective communicator to my woman, I would give her some statistics on what's going out there in the world. I would tell her with all the women that's being raped, with all the women that's being kidnapped, would you like to take that risk if one of these inadequate men see you and lust over you, you know, and decide to take that risky jump and snatch you up, perhaps rape you, perhaps kill you. And I just wanted you to go and think about what I just said, right? Before you go out there in that cruel world out there. You know, this is your safety zone right here, this household of ours. This is your environment right here, this household of yours, right? So, and I can guarantee you, you know, she would think and ponder and say, hey, my man is right. Well, let me go up in here and cover up. All I'm going
You have 60 seconds remaining.
All I'm going to do is go to the store. Let me cover up, boom, go to the store, and come back safely. You know, so you're giving your woman something to ponder on, not, you know, downing her, not disregarding her feelings, putting her down, and all these other things. And that's why I said a person has to be a good conversationalist, a good communicator, not just a good communicator, but an effective communicator to have her think, you know, outside the box and make her own decision to go out in that world like that.
And do y'all agree with that? If your man said that to you, that's how you would react to it.
I mean,
And I'm gonna plead. I'm gonna plead for honesty right now.
yeah, personally, you could just tell me to change, and I'll change. I mean, it's really that simple. Yeah, I don't have a problem, you know, making you more comfortable when we're together, or just in general, if I'm with you and you prefer me to dress a certain way, I have no problem with that. So if you ask me, that would be enough. If I was in a relationship and that was the response, I'd probably be sitting at home with him, because we'd probably be debating this whole
Yeah,
conversation.
that'll open up a whole different can of worms where
Right?
we're
Yeah,
talking about liberation and all that shit, you know.
yeah, for sure.
So they saying that you doing too much talking, Eugene. They ain't finna sit up and listen to all the. She halfway to the car and back by the time you finish saying all that.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I think that's a part of the vulnerability in a relationship, though, right?
Yeah.
Like, just saying, like, hey, I think I'd be more comfortable if you did this as opposed to this. And okay, no problem. Like, that's easy.
I was like, take that. I was like, what the fuck are we doing? What are we doing right now?
That's what I didn't even know we lost Eugene.
And that would probably make me
I
laugh.
wanted to hear how you handle it, no face.
How you doing?
You guys, let me introduce Accent. He was watching our show. He wanted to join in. He was at the bar watching our show, so
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't
Oh,
here
want
now.
he looks. He ready.
Yeah, yeah, guys, amazing.
hello.
Okay.
Hey, hey,
Hey.
Gina. What's up,
What you
Gina?
got for us, accent?
Nothing much, man. I just want to say hello. And your brothers are amazing. Keep on supporting, keep on saying what you're saying. It makes
Yeah,
sense.
appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, you can hear my accent. So I'm from the motherland. And I
Oh,
know
nice.
the other side of, different lifestyle when it comes to relationship and marriage. And Nicole knows me more than anybody at this moment. Really, like Nicole is my everything, as
Oh,
far as
No,
my sister, who I
yeah.
can run to and say, hey, my cry shoulder. That's Nicole
oh, that's so
right
sweet.
there.
Oh, thank
I'm,
you.
about, I'm
Thank
I'll be
you.
45 in May 21st. To be honest.
Okay.
So
Okay.
me being this age, and Nicole knows, she knows, she's
He
my,
going through it right now.
you
He
know what
going.
I'm, no, I'm not,
Oh,
don't
he's
do
Oh,
that, don't do that.
Okay.
Hey,
Oh God.
Gina,
He's
I'm not
not
going
going
through
through it.
anything.
But
Gina, I'm not
actually,
going.
can I just give a little bit of background,
Go
okay?
ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
He
Please,
got a
please.
baby mama and he got 3
No,
girlfriends.
ex-wife.
No, you wasn't married.
We were for 20 years.
Wow.
You got
Oh,
3
okay.
ex-wives
No,
or
he
1
got
ex-wife?
a baby mama that was his ex-wife, I guess. And he
Hmm.
has 3 women right now that he's kind of juggling. We haven't talked in a couple of days, so I don't know
Whoa.
if there's anything new, but I
You know.
know he
You
been at
know.
the bar a lot
You know.
lately.
You know.
Okay.
You said
You
you
know.
know.
He's doing
Preston Hallow. Preston Hallow, to be exact.
what?
Yeah. If you know Dallas, Preston Hallow,
I don't. I don't.
Highland Park, that's where. Yeah. Anyway,
Well,
Kings.
Did you
Yeah.
say
Go ahead, dear.
Dallas?
yeah, he's in
I'm in
Dallas.
Dallas. Yes.
He's in Dallas.
Are you in Deep Ellum?
Mm-mm. They'll rob you there.
Okay.
I'm in. Yeah. I'm in Preston Hallow.
Okay.
Hello.
And
Oh, he
They'll
moved
rob
on
you
up.
there.
He moved on up. He's
You're
in
in
a
North
high
Deep
rise
Ellum.
somewhere. Yeah.
yeah. And
Doing big
then
things.
my kids are in Frisco, and I reside in Plano. So
Right.
hangout spot is in Preston Hallow. Residence is in Plano. My children are in Frisco. Nicole knows that. What do
So
you mean? Why you act like you don't know?
I
Yesterday we
don't
supposed
know
to
the
talk.
city.
No, you called me
Look,
yesterday. We supposed to talk. I was supposed to tell you a new story.
but we can't talk right now. So
Okay, sorry, dear.
how do you feel in the conversation so far? Are you more leaning towards what No Face is saying or what Gino on the phone is saying? If
Caught in the middle. To be honest, I caught in the middle of your what the agenda, the whatever you guys are talking about. To be
yeah,
honest with you,
yeah.
so I was just listening to my brother, listen to my sister talk. So I wasn't there in the beginning. Like I said, I was in
You
the
just
bar.
want to
So
jump
I
on.
rushed. Listen, I left the bar. That's why I text you. I was like, I'm about to leave the bar. It's so loud, I can't hear, and my earpod is about to die. So I left the bar, rushing 15 minutes to my house. So now it's clear. It's quiet.
It
You can't
sounds
hear
good.
nothing.
It sounds
Yes.
great.
Besides the patron. Patron is
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can hear the Patron actually.
yes, ma'am.
We can hear the
Yes, ma'am.
Patron, but
Yes, ma'am.
I love it. I'm glad you called in. So we got Eugene back on the phone.
Yes, ma'am.
Eugene, the floor is yours. I mean, you got No Face kind of riled up, but
No, no, it's normal, but this is the same narrative that I hear all the time.
I can share some, man. I've been separated from my ex-wife. We've been together since 2004. We got 2 children together biologically. I raised 4 children total. My oldest is 25, 20. I got 25, 21. I got 17 and 15. Nicole knows that. We move around. We got up and down. We started a business. Woo, woo, woo. We are here now, right? So I've been separated from her from 2008. I mean 2018 to 2022. We got back together, and then we got separated again in 2023 at the end. And then Nicole was there. And then what else? I've been hanging out in a strip club 24/7. That's what I do.
That shit.
I hang out with strippers. That's what I do. One just left my house just now. Who just took me home, make sure I made it home. What else would I say? Like, yeah, Nicole, go ahead.
you told enough. That was back.
So that's my life. To be honest, relationship sucks. Dating in America sucks.
Yeah.
Men, we are just a tool. If you have money, you ball. If you don't, sorry for you. Um, if you're in a state like California, oopsie. If
Uh-oh.
you're in Texas, you'll be smiling. Um, if you're on the East Coast, I'm sorry for you. Um,
I want you to
anyway,
touch
it
on
is
that a
what
little
it
bit
is.
further, accent. Tell
Yes,
tell
sir.
us what's the difference between dating in America versus dating in the continent, and
It's
then
the,
what
it's the
and then
same
how is
now.
it how does it affect those differences affect relationships, marriages, and families?
Let me tell you this, King. I'm not gonna lie to you. No sugarcoating. It's the same
No,
right
we don't
now.
want right.
It's the same right now. You ain't got no money, you're doomed. Anywhere.
his baby
This
mama or his
call and
ex-wife
your
is
telephone number
African,
will be
Here we
monitored.
go. Nicole just said it.
and
She
she
makes
gets
three
more
times
trouble
money
out of
more than
her
me.
than anybody.
She's from here. I got friends from Africa, bro. We got a community. I don't hang out with them, but the people who are in a relationship, in a marriage, they are struggling. They're miserable. They're horrible. Majority of them they can't leave because of the culture, the taboo. If you leave, you're weak as a man, as an African. When you leave your family, you're just weak. You just leave somebody else to raise your children. They don't know the system actually take care of everything. You can arrange. No, in the system
Yeah,
is
yeah.
just like, yeah.
It sound like the country that you're from. I'm not sure. I want to say, is it Kenya?
Tanzania. My wife is Kenyan.
Oh, Tanzania. Okay, I'm not
Yeah,
familiar with Tanzania,
yeah.
but I know it's a westernized. It's a
It's
westernized country. It
every
has to be
no. No, listen, bro. 99% of
of the continent.
not the continent, everywhere right now is really everywhere. I got friends. I got my brother from Chicago. The wife is from Malaysia. You know,
Yeah.
I can I can do too much over here because people can join in, right? Can start listening in here from Facebook. Is this Facebook?
Well, what I'm
Yeah.
asking is the laws are similar. The laws are similar in Tanzania that they
So
are here.
in in Tanzania, this is how it works. So in Tanzania, is the same as
Absolutely.
here. You can go. There's church. There's mosque. So the only difference is with the Muslim community, you can marry up to 5 wives.
Yeah.
In a church community, you can only marry wife. In a
Right.
court, you can marry one. However, if you're a Muslim and you believe that, and your wife believe on those beliefs, you can extend more than one wife in a court. But if you go to the mosque, they'll give you two, three, four, five, six. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
So
got you.
that's how it works. It
Are
works
you
over
a
there.
Muslim?
No, I'm not. I'm a
Are you
Christian.
a Muslim?
No, I was raised a Lutheran, born and raised.
Yeah. Well, if you're a Muslim, right, you can. It's absolutely permissible to marry 5 wives, right?
Yeah.
However, it's frowned upon if you cannot afford
Here
those
we go.
wives. So
I
you
was
will
coming. I
literally
was
have to
coming there.
afford
Absolutely.
and pay. Yeah, so you cannot jump into another marriage, without buying a house, buying food, and other items to support that wife.
That's
So
absolutely
you
right.
really have
Yes.
to earn your way. Yes.
So wealth. That's what I'm saying. When it comes to, that's why I came back today. I say money can do anything. You see how you do. I mean, man. By the way, now Christians, man, marriages back in Africa is the same as here. Big people are quiet; they don't want to talk about it. The divorce rate is rapid. It's crazy, especially now. My generation, majority of my friends are divorced who are married, and who are not. They are cheating. They have open marriage kind of thing. Like they go to Europe, they got cheap tickets to go to Europe, and they come back and it's all good. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. Go there. I tell
He
people,
said,
go.
"Go
We
there."
have this thing like, oh, Africa is nice, everything, but America has every everything you're facing here is there.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a big misconception because of the
Yes.
betrayal that we
Let's
see. Yeah.
not do that. Let's be realistic. Go there and see. You'll be like, oh my God. They twerk. They got strip clubs. They got everything. McDonald's. They got KFC. You got everything there. Absolutely.
Yeah.
They're talking their lingo. They're dressing like. I mean, it's strange. Hmm.
He called it strange.
Hmm. But it's realistic. So, there's a misconception of, oh, motherland or women are nice, or they have that family value, or they have, religious, or they do this. Nah, man. You got money, they'll do that, everything for you. Same as here.
Yeah.
You
Yeah. That's
don't
some
have
good
money in
insight. I appreciate
Africa?
that insight.
Oh, yeah. You don't have money in Africa? My mama will tell you. I saw my mama and my dad. And that's the last generation that was real love.
Mm,
You're just bullshitting, man. I ain't gonna lie to you, pardon my language.
I
I'm not.
like
Them
You
parts.
know, that's a fact.
them part.
If you disagree with me, do your research. Just go there. The ticket is cheap now.
Them part.
Go.
Hey, you guys. So Monica is joining. Um, she was in the comments. She asked to join. Let me try to unmute her. I don't know why it's muted. Monica, you gotta unmute yourself.
What's her name?
Monica.
Mata?
No,
Oh,
Monica.
Monica.
Monica, you gotta
Okay.
unmute. So she left a comment. Let me put the
Okay.
comment.
Well, I tried.
All right,
No,
we
I
hear you, love.
tried. Can y'all hear me?
We hear you, love.
Good
You are
evening,
live.
family. Hello.
What
Hey.
up?
Welcome, Monica.
Hey, look. Sometimes y'all just have to get back to the roots. Like we are where we are as a black community, whether you're from the diaspora, from the motherland, from the continent, but everything starts at home. And I'm not going to listen no more to about black women being wildebeest because you as men plant the seed and you leave it to grow.
No, there's a. I want to clarify that. I'm not saying. I never suggested that all black women were wildebeest, or that all wildebeest are black women. So let's just
Well,
get
no,
this
I
put
didn't
that
say
out
you
there.
said that. But even to be
I don't think
disrespectful
those
in that
women.
manner, because you've got people from different calibers and walks of life, and it's where you come from and your home training. Everybody knows right from wrong.
At least they should.
But,
Not
our
everybody.
Creator, the Most High, gave us laws to live by. And
Let's go.
if you believe in that, then we were created from your rib. So we are your helpmate, your partner. You are supposed to be the head. You are supposed to lead. But we've been put into a position from the diaspora, from slavery, when our men were being demasculated back then to be the head of the household.
Right.
Mm.
Okay,
And when you say
so
diaspora, what are you referring to?
slavery, the
Okay.
transatlantic slave
African
trade.
people.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
hmm
that's what I
And
thought.
accent, I heard what you said. So my cousin is, well, she was the ambassador to Gambia. And some of the things you just said, like, and it happens everywhere, but I think following, and I don't know what the YouTube laws are or guidelines because I generally don't get on and talk, and I've been banned before, but when you follow Western civilization or the white man's law,
You have 60 seconds
because
remaining.
you said you like strip clubs, and you got how many
I
children
do. I do.
and girlfriends?
I do.
So, if do you have daughters? Is that what you want them to lead or follow
No.
men that are right? So the man is the head.
Okay.
God created y'all that way, the black man. We're out here, yes, getting degrees, doing what we got to do to take care of our children from the seeds that y'all plant. It's time for you all to step up.
Mm.
Mm.
Sound like you got something to say to that, Eugene. You're
It
gonna have to
echoes
call back
what I
in.
was saying. No, it just echoes what I was saying. You
Mm.
know, that's all that. It not only echoes, it confirms what I was saying, you know. So, and that's coming from a woman's perspective.
Yeah, and I'm going to add to that. I am an educated woman. So I don't know if it was No Face or somebody that was speaking to education. But knowledge is power, but more so spiritual knowledge, emotional maturity, scriptural. Y'all got to go back to our roots, your elders and your ancestors. That's why we are lost.
Miss Monica, are you married? If you don't mind me asking.
I'm happily divorced.
No, jeez. Well, I would say
I'm free, single, and disengaged because I think
yeah.
it was Gina. or maybe Unique Perspective had noted in the comments, toxic relationships and behavior is not healthy. So if you're not a man of God and of the word and of the scripture, you can't lead me. If I was on fire listening to this conversation, I wouldn't ask not a near one of y'all to spit on me to put the fire out.
I well, damn,
I'm
Monica. I
okay. Well,
can say that I have struggled with this conversation today because I think there's a lot of things we missed speaking on, and
Definitely.
I think there's a lot of negativity around um, either the man's perspective or the woman's perspective, and we're speaking in a very divisive way, which just spiritually I struggle with.
Say
And
it, Gina.
yeah, it's just like I said earlier, like you can't get to the next level, to the higher level without having love. And if we all keep,
Say that.
you know,
So I hear the young people. So I don't know how old you all are, but I'm a little bit older. But I hear now women saying they want to live the soft life.
mm,
Mm.
mhm.
you
But
said
many of
the
us as
thought life or the
You
soft,
didn't even say the thought life.
soft,
The
Okay.
soft.
Goodwill.
soft,
oh the soft life. No, I
the
didn't know.
soft life.
I thought
I want to live the soft life too. I'm living the soft life right now.
yeah, that's the new.
Very
That's the
soft,
new.
soft,
That's the new
fluffy.
thing that they're ushering in. That's the new thing that they're ushering in because the pendulum is swinging from women thinking that they want to be independent and they um, want to be career focused, and so they're ushering in this new thing to combat that pendulum swinging from where women are getting tired and
So
getting
that's me that
exhausted
I
from.
want to speak to.
It's
It's
not
you, No
I'm gonna ask
Face.
a question for brothers who
Oh
are
wait, hold
married.
on. It's No
Go ahead.
Face. That's the one I want to talk to.
Oh.
I was trying to text and put my comments, but it wasn't going fast enough. No Face, I need you to pick up a book. It's called From the Plantation to the Ghetto. I have it on my bookshelf, and I'll be more than happy to send it to you. What
I'm gonna
you
need
need
the
to
book.
realize and go back in history and realize the role of the black man and the woman. Once we got to America, many of us was already here.
Right.
We were forced to have to do these things. It doesn't mean nigga, well, I don't want to be independent, not like that.
facts.
Right.
I'm
That's
just
what I was.
saying.
That's why the
But
soft life era is amongst upon us.
But it's not mutually exclusive. Like the soft girl era and being able to be career driven aren't. It's not saying you can't be
you
both.
can have both at the same time,
Can I?
Right.
Gene.
Yes, Miss Monica. Can I say something? Um,
Yes.
You're a
I
seasoned
was
woman. You
I
got the
was
right to say
I'll tell
that.
you this. I had my family for all these years. Everything was fantastic, right? I'll tell you, we had a one family dispute. Nicole knows this. In 2017, I came from Toronto, Canada, right? Me and my ex had a dispute out of a phone call. My neighbor called the police. 9 police officers showed up in Frisco. Frisco PD showed up in my house. Nine
Yeah,
at three
because you're
o'clock in the
black.
morning. You feel me? In the alley, in every.
Mm-hmm.
So I was forced out of my house
Mm-hmm.
by the system. I'm coming back to the system. So the
So here's the
system pushed
thing.
me. Let me tell you this. Let me finish. My neighbors, who I used to look after their dogs, after their plants, when they go to India, these are Indians. When Indians trust you, you know what it is. So they stopped talking to me. I didn't have any friends. So when you coming back to your community, I was a member of PTA. I was a friendly neighborhood guy. Now you're coming back to your community, they're looking at you funny. So
Yeah.
at the end of the day, as a man, we don't talk about these are the things men. Let me tell you about things. There's certain things emotionally. I talk to Nicole. I talk to Nicole. Nicole's my emotion, my part of half my shrink. So emotionally, men, we don't talk about certain things because we don't have that venue. We don't
So
that,
go back and read that book. And
okay,
the
here we go.
reason is because for the black man in America, all of that was taken away from y'all. And then they started putting in drugs, and then they targeted, I love rap music, but they started targeting the things, which is, it's nothing but poetry.
Yes, it's all in the system. They
So,
did rap
so
music. Hmm.
what
Go
you
ahead.
have to do is go back again to your roots. Like, how often do y'all pray?
Mm,
How often do
I
you
pray
speak
every day.
into
several times a day.
yourself
Every
and
day.
your
I pray all the
women
time.
and your children?
Hmm.
Yes, all the time.
I pray 5 times a day.
Period.
Mm, I heard that.
And it's very hard to walk the line, but when you get your life in accordance to the way
Whoever
we
say
should
pray
be
five
living, it
times a
would be
day,
different.
Alhamdulillah.
Inshallah, things will change, but currently, the state of America right now and the state of the black community is in a very scary time because history is repeating itself.
Over and over and over again, though. This ain't the first
Well,
time we've
but if
been.
you go back to the Bible or the scriptures, the Quran, the Ethiopian Bible, there is a plan. Our
Oh
days are
well,
numbered.
Trump is messing up.
But when we turn back to where we come from, that's how the curse is broken, then we shall be free. But our black men have been enslaved mentally. And it's always been the
And
black
turned
woman.
against us.
Exactly. And so now we're too independent. And who wants to be a single mother? I think every little girl grows up and has that little fairy tale of being a wife and having a husband and raising their children. It don't turn out like that. But when we have our black
Why
men, our
not?
brothers, why not?
Why doesn't it turn out like that?
Gee,
So
whiz, got deep. Didn't sound like this.
Gina, say something.
Why do you think, or anyone who can answer, why is it that we have a lot of single mothers? I guess that's what he's saying. Why does it turn out that way?
Right.
because people are
Women
not
are rude.
one,
No,
every
that part.
family has to have a foundation. When you build your foundation on God, then
Alhamdulillah.
then everything will follow according to his plan if you live by his laws. But we're not perfect people and we all know this. But when you're emotionally immature, spiritually ignorant, and then you got the white man and the Kardashian and P. Diddy's and Jay-Z's out here in the world that done sold their souls, and
Uh-oh.
people don't believe in that,
No, that's a
we're
real
lost. Our children are lost. So when you see the women out here, and I have daughters, they're adults, but I always tell them less is more. Leave something to the imagination. And I'm going to go back to whoever said, Alhamdulillah, my children are Bilal, Samaya, and Layla. They all have Muslim names. They were raised in the church, Baptist. We went to Pentecostal. They went to Catholic schools and practiced Islam. Because again, I said earlier, ignorance is bliss. An educated mind is a powerful mind. And that's how we get along with everybody else. Everyone on this earth came from us. We
women.
are, God said we're in his image, the Alpha and the Omega. It's the black man and the black woman. And that's what people in America don't know. Everybody else in the world knows. Tell me, accent, what they talk about in Africa.
Yeah, that terminology. That's a
Yes,
great
black
terminology.
woman is everything.
Wow.
Because everything comes from us. So what
I
I'm
told
not going to do,
me
no
and Nicole.
face,
So me and
and
Nicole, we talk
E is
about this
allow
all the
you to
time.
disrespect us.
Yeah, this is something that
Because
I say. Women lead. Even business. When it comes to business, I mean, even in America, corporate America, women, they have even men will take that idea and use as a muscle. Oh, I know somebody, but really come from women. All ideas come from women. All AI idea came from a woman. No
accent,
lie.
you're absolutely correct.
Yes. I tell Nicole, I'm like, Nicole, what do I need to do right now? Oh, do this, Bernard. Oh, I'm like, okay, cool. Cheers. Bye. Later. Am I lying? No. Talk, Nicole. Am I lying?
You
Am I
telling
lying?
no, you're telling the truth. We have conversations all the time.
Am I
I'm
lying?
going to say something to you, accent, but Nicole, I'm going to tell you because Nicole was just here. What was that, last summer when you
Yep.
was here?
This
Yep.
call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Yep.
So I'm on a watch list. So whoever's calls being monitored and recorded, goddamn.
Yeah. No, we had there's a prisoner
Female.
on the panel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on,
Or
honey. I,
he's.
yeah, I am a human being. You know, I'm just
I didn't mean
Hey,
that. I didn't
we
mean that.
got Fed over here. We got
I
Fed.
gave the introduction earlier, but
I just had to correct. I just
Oh no,
had to
you're fine. No, sweetheart,
you
you're
know what
fine.
I'm
I got
saying?
on the call late.
yeah, I apologize. We have Eugene who is in California State Prison right now, so he's calling in. So you will hear the recording. You'll hear him have to call back in every 15 minutes. And we
I
want to
just don't want Eugene to have to answer for me.
okay, but we want to give him time to get some words in because he's on crunch time, of course.
Yeah, and it
So go
costs.
ahead,
Go ahead,
brother.
Eugene.
Okay.
No, correct. I agree with you. I'm the one that said alhamdulillah, which means, all praises to God,
Mm.
and a beer. So, I don't know where the topic, ended at, but I know where it began. You echoed some of the same things that I said earlier, as far as that's why I stated about the slavery, the government system of excluding blacks from education, excluding blacks from decent homes, excluding blacks from the market. All these things, what I'm saying, was a trickle down effect on our peoples, and it still is affecting many of us, and we're seeing right now the rollback of education. We're seeing right now the rollback of civil rights. We're seeing right now the rollback of a lot of things, that is going to be affecting not only us, but our kids, our
Say
grandkids.
that. Say that. So the problem that I have right now, Eugene, is that
Yes,
so you're locked up, but we got brothers out here walking around on the streets now that don't watch the news,
only physically.
ain't paying attention to what's going on in their children's lives. They at the strip club, still trying to turn up. I don't know where accent went.
He
But the
bounced.
focus should be on the family in the home, building, structuring, getting out. Well, I didn't protest today. I have a daughter that's an activist. But I was like, today we being silent. We gonna let the people that voted for this mofo do what they do. But it goes back to again, you read your Quran, Eugene, find you, I'm sure I doubt they give you access to the Ethiopian Bible in your facility. But if not, find one of the original King James versions because that's the closest to the Ethiopian Bible. And it's going to tell you about the days and times we're living in right now. History is repeating itself. That's in the scripture.
Absolutely. Yeah. Now the
Yeah.
thing is, as humans, right? We are fallible human beings, right? Each and every one of us. There's no, what I'm saying, no one that hasn't made mistakes in their lives and continue to make mistakes. Now, how can we turn over that corner and start solving some of these humanistic problems, these social problems, what I'm saying, and stop avoiding these problems and bringing it to a larger audience, this
Again,
is
Eugene, that is in scripture.
as far as
Read Deuteronomy 28.
right here of enlightening people. Yeah. Go ahead.
So that's also in the good book. There's an old saying, and it comes from slavery times, but it popped out in civil rights. Put it in a book because a nigga ain't never going to read it.
You have
A
60
lot of us have read a lot of books, but one of the most important books is that Bible.
Hmm.
So that's going to tell you who you are and where you come from.
I don't want to nullify it by saying but however, you literally have to activate on all those that are those messages in the Bible and the applications that you need to adhere to in order for you to practice that. You have to step into practice and implement it within yourself. You can't just
And,
read it
well,
and
yeah,
think
that's
that
true.
God is going to bless you and make you fruitful and make you the person.
Hold on, Eugene, baby. I'm a I'm gonna ask Nicole to give me your information, and I'm gonna write you and send you some scriptures and things to help you out. Because again, the recipe is already there. So once we know, or other people know and learn what's in that book and who we are and where we come from, we would be a mighty people. And we are a mighty people. And that's why what's going on right now is happening, because they're afraid that we're waking up. They use the word woke and conscious, and they're using it in a negative way. But the scripture tells you there's going to come a time when your children are going to prophesize. The weak, the women, it's all in the book. We're living in that time right now. You don't know what the weather's going to be like, but it says, look to the heavens and the skies for the coming.
Oh, I
But
didn't even know you knew that.
I'm gonna send you some stuff so that you can read it.
Monica, I hate to tell you, he didn't
Global
hear none of
Village,
that
you
though.
have a prepaid call from
Oh,
The
it's
phone
okay.
had cut off. But I'll let him know
an
what you said.
incarcerated individual at the Moscow State Prison.
I'll send you his information. I'm sure he will love that.
And look, girl, I got two jobs now. I'm working for Big Pharma and a major dental company at the same damn time, so I can put some money on his books.
Oh, that's so sweet.
So Eugene, your phone cut off while Monica was talking, but she wants me to give her your information so she can send you some scripture. And girl even said she gonna put some money on your book.
Uh, I could give you my hookup.
I'll get it to her.
I'll get it from my cousin,
Uh,
because that's what we as women do in our community. Each one teach one. When you know better, you do better.
You know better, you do better.
That's true.
And
If you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready.
period.
And I'm
Period.
thankful to my ancestors. And Nicole, do these people know that you come from a family of Black Panthers?
Probably not.
I do. I've been knowing Nicole over
No.
30 some
30
years
years.
now.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
You want to say something? No. Oh shit, my
Go
bad.
ahead, no face.
Yeah, no face. What you trying to add?
My bad. I didn't realize I was being picked. I didn't have. I was distracted. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, you guys, we are about an hour and 30 minutes. We're gonna wrap it up. I love all the points. I'm gonna let Eugene make the final point. He started perfectly with basically leading with love, is what he's talking about. Love is the only thing that's gonna fix what we're going through, and I completely believe that.
Amen.
Yeah. So Eugene, if you can give us, close out the show for us. Final thoughts, anything?
I'm gonna close out the show with this. I'm gonna read this. In community, nothing and no one is secondary, right? Everyone has something to teach, and everyone has something to learn. We teach and we learn from each other, working in a physical, emotional, intellectual, and spiritual realm. So we will end on that and that alone, and hopefully everybody could ponder on those words right there, because we do learn from each other in order to continue the development of our, intellect, and hopefully we continue to grow, and not down brothers and sisters, but lift them up in positivity.
Well said. You guys, Thank you all for joining. I loved it. I'm glad that Monica, you just popped up and came on. I love all your input, all of your input. Appreciate it. Thank you guys. We are out. Have a good night. Peace out.
Love
Peace.
y'all.
Appreciate y'all.
Peace.
Yeah.
Peace. Love y'all.